Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Bracken. I'm the president and CEO of the New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to the fifth webinar in a series of five that we're co-hosting with New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. These webinars have focused on some key challenges small businesses have been facing during this extended pandemic. And we all know there is certainly no lack of challenges that we faced during this unprecedented time. Probably the most daunting challenge of any business is finding new sources of revenue that can help them back on the path of profitable growth, which is needed if we're going to have a full recovery for our New Jersey economy. Oscar Moreno, the Chief Technology Officer at Starfish Global, will address the challenge in detail this morning by focusing how you can better and more profitably leverage your website and electronic communications. After Oscar completes his presentation, we will open up the webinar for questions. And if you'd like to ask a question, please submit it through the chat box. I would like to thank our partner and sponsor for this series of webinars, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. NJM has been a great partner for the State Chamber and a great corporate citizen in New Jersey for forever. And I'd like to thank them for all they have done for us in the state. Now to tell you more about Oscar Moreno and how New Jersey Manufacturers supports small business, please welcome Kevin McMillan, Commercial Lines Manager, Policyholder Services at NJM. Kevin?
Good morning, everyone, and Tom, thanks for the kind words. My name is Kevin McMillan. I am the Manager of Policyholder Services in our Commercial Insurance Department here at NJM. And NJM is proud to sponsor its fifth and final webinar of the series hosted by the New Jersey Chamber, where each webinar has featured a subject matter expert who has discussed important topics that are impacting small businesses in New Jersey. NJM in particular would like to thank the Chamber for being there through these tough and challenging times. The Chamber has been a tremendous advocate for small businesses for more than 100 years. And in particular, we appreciate their support and advocacy over these past 2 years. NJM has also been a big part of the New Jersey business landscape for more than a century. Founded by business owners for business owners, we look to provide insurance solutions to help protect employers and employees at the workplace, keep cars on the road, and keep operations running. While there have been many challenges since March of 2020, NJM, I'm happy to say, has continued forward with their strategic plan, experiencing positive change by expanding our geographic footprint and our product line. I'm happy to say that NJM is now a leading carrier offering business insurance in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, New York, and Maryland. In 2021, we added 2 additions to our business product line by adding a NJM Pro Edge BOP or business owners policy and a commercial umbrella coverage policy. The Pro Edge BOP policy provides protection against liability and property risks for small businesses. The commercial umbrella policy provides an extra layer of coverage for those small businesses should they require such. The BOP and umbrella products complement our workers' comp and commercial auto products to round out a complete package or insurance solution for small businesses. If you have any interest in joining the NJM family, please visit us at www.njm.com or please message me directly. Today's webinar will discuss using global e-commerce to grow your business. And our expert speaker today is Mr. Oscar Moreno, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Starfish Global. Starfish Global is an information technology and software development company based in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Starfish also has a presence in Guatemala, where it serves their Latin American businesses. As a co-founder of Starfish, Oscar is a consultant to small business development centers in New Jersey, where he serves as a bilingual consultant, technical advisor to Rutgers University, and other New Jersey colleges and universities. Oscar brings more than 40 years of experience designing and implementing software technology and internet-based data collection and management systems with a focus on biomedical, financial, and scientific environments. Oscar believes that the use of information and technology is critical to achieving business growth. And we are very fortunate to have him here with us today. So it is my pleasure to introduce to everyone, Oscar Moreno.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that introduction. And thank you for making me part of this very important webinar. Today, we're going to be discussing how to improve your e-commerce. Before I get started, I'd like to let me share my screen first. Before I get started, I'd like to introduce Shai Hawkins. She's going to say a few words, and she's the marketing coordinator for the Njspdc and one of the sponsors of this event. Shai?
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much, Oscar, and good morning to everyone. Me included, we're very excited to be here today, and I'm going to take this quick opportunity to give you a little bit of information and insight into who the Njspdc is. For 45 years now, the Njspdc, or the New Jersey Small Business Development Centers Network, has been the premier provider of comprehensive services and programs for small and mid-sized businesses in New Jersey with wide infrastructure, diverse facilities, intellectual and knowledge capabilities, and private sector experts. The Njspdc has 12 regional centers and over 20 affiliate and satellite offices throughout the state through public-private partnerships with colleges, universities, chambers of commerce, and other business organizations. Our services include one-on-one business consulting, training courses, and resources. Our business consultants will work with you one-to-one to develop a great idea into a fully functioning business and help scale and grow your business into where it needs to be for the next level. Our training courses are specifically created to help business owners develop a strong foundation in the key areas of entrepreneurship. And our network has curated a collection of databases and partners essential to properly start, sustain, and grow your business. We provide these resources only to our clients at no cost. And I have to say that again. We provide these resources to our clients at zero cost. These resources include research tools, lending programs, banks, software, and much more. In short, we are here to help you succeed. Your success is literally our success. To learn more about the Njspdc, to become a client, or to set up your expert business counseling session, please go to www.njspdc.com. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank the New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce and NJM for putting together today's program. And now, Oscar, back to you.
Thank you, Shai. And welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to be discussing some strategies that will definitely increase your e-commerce business. So what are we going to be discussing today? We're going to get started with a brief definition of e-commerce, some terms to keep in mind, the benefits of e-commerce, and then we're going to dive into the strategies to increase e-commerce to make it work for your business. So what is e-commerce? In brief, it's really the buying or selling of goods and services, or the transmitting of funds and data over an electronic network, primarily the internet. With that in mind, we're going to try to keep some terms in mind here. E-commerce can take the form of business to consumer, business to business, consumer to consumer, consumer to business, and business to government. And the slide has some examples of these types of e-commerce. We're not going to go into those in detail, but if you have any questions about that, we can talk about it later. The primary objective, of course, is as a business owner, now more than ever, it is important that you understand the benefits of e-commerce, from faster buying processes to expanded market opportunities and more opportunities and easier opportunities to innovate for sure. And during these times, during COVID-19, the ability to adapt to customer needs, through contactless transactions, the ability to mitigate retail closures. And let's be serious, we don't know where COVID-19 is going. It won't disappear overnight, and who knows? Hopefully, it's not going to happen. But tomorrow we might face closures again, and it's incredibly important that we are ready to face those challenges again. So, to be sure, technology has revolutionized everything, and now electronic transactions give us the flexibility and to survive what these difficult times that we're going through right now. So let's start talking about some of the strategies that will increase your business. Let's start with clear and well-defined goals and objectives. And here, the e-commerce website should have a clear and well-defined goal that explicitly serves businesses' goals and the needs of potential customers. It should ensure that it showcases your unique value proposition by giving the right information at the right time. The unique proposition should include design, message, media, content, services, and overall experience. You also have to understand your customer. To convert site visitors, which is really the primary goal of conversion rate optimization, it is essential that you understand your customers and their behavior. The website should be tailored, keeping in mind the target customer and the quantitative data that you can get from analytics, sales trends, and all the data that you are actually collecting. It should also have easy navigation. In order to achieve a high conversion rate, it is essential that the website provides easy navigation. This becomes an incredibly important factor in how many clicks it takes for a customer to purchase from your site. The longer the process, the more chances your visitors will leave without checking out or without opting in to receive more information from you. And also, another important factor, with over 90% of our users accessing the web through their phone, it is important and vital that your website is mobile friendly and responsive. So let me see. Next slide. You also have to analyze your data. Okay, so if you haven't tied your e-commerce site to Google Analytics yet, it is definitely time to do it. Based on the results from Google Analytics and other visitor tracking software, you need to try to find out the reasons behind the switching of visitors from your site to a competitor's website. Based on these findings, you need to tweak. You need to try A and B testing and find out more successful method of converting visitors to customers. And next, we have a strong SEO presence. So it takes time to rank your website higher in Google search results. So it becomes mandatory that pages have accurate titles, proper meta tags, and the appropriate keywords. You have to pay attention to the data and review analytics often to find out what worked and what didn't. And good SEO can be a very complex process, but the best and simplest way to implement it is to make sure your content is clear and concise. That includes keywords that are important. Remember, every single night, all the search engines come to your site and they look for the keywords that are going to determine where you rank. So you have to review analytics again and again to find out what works. The use of high quality images is incredibly important. The goal of the e-commerce website should be to give customers an experience that is as real as possible, something that makes them feel as if they're buying a product from a physical store. So try to use only high quality images, or better yet, create videos. Videos are, giving better results now than actual images. And along with high quality images and or videos, the product descriptions also play an important role. The product descriptions mentioned on your website should provide a solution to your customers' pain points, the problems that your product or service is trying to solve. Remember, those descriptions are examined by the search engine on a daily basis. So make sure they're accurate and they include keywords that matter. Again, if you create videos, they will increase the selling of your products, the potential of selling your products by 144%. Improve categorization. The more organized your online store will be, the lesser your customers' chances of bouncing back. An organized online store provides an easy search to the customer and keeping them in flow. And this, the next one, reduce cart abandonment. This is one of those e-commerce marketing strategies that is often neglected by the businesses, but it is possibly the most important one. You spend a lot of time building trust with potential customers to get them to purchase from you. And now you need to continue building that trust through your checkout process. Okay. So, optimize for mobile. Nearly 50% of our traffic comes from mobile, and those are the people that actually abandon their carts more often. Make your products load faster, reduce friction throughout the checkout process, offer free shipping if you can. 44% of all abandoned carts are due to unexpected shipping costs. You've been there. You get to the final point and then you realize that it's going to cost an arm and a leg to ship your product, and you just simply abandon your cart. And don't give your customers a choice overload. If your checkout process is smooth and trustworthy from start to finish, you will increase conversion rates and decrease cart abandonment. Try to get everything in one page. If you have several pages through the checkout process, consider showing a progress bar at the bottom of each page so your customers can visualize how much longer your checkout process will take, and make your buttons easy to find. The more time a customer spends looking for the next button or the checkout button, the quicker they're going to become frustrated and possibly leave. For the checkout, only three sections I recommend. The first section should be for shipping information, the next for billing, and the final one, a section where your customers can leave a review. Make sure they can easily see all the information they have entered, and they can go back and make corrections without having to hit the next button. Increase the perceived value of your website. Offer discounts. 44% of all decisions are made decisions faster due to discounts. You have to also create attractive bundle packages. Offer coupons, very important. And reduce skepticism. To convince customers to buy from your store, you must implement a trust building strategy so that they won't abandon their cart due to mistrust. If you were able to develop an emotional connection with your customer, first by being recommended by a friend and then by offering excellent products and services, you can expect to earn 306% more from that customer than from one that you has no connection to you or your business. Okay, so very important that you try to make sure that your customers can trust you. So with that in mind, you craft attractive returns and exchange policies. Specify your policies clearly. Don't use jargon, just simple language will do. Go the extra mile with extended returns and pay for shipping charges or returns. And also have a no questions asked return policy. Provide amazing customer service, undercommit and overdeliver. I am a client of Zappos, where I buy shoes. I don't know if any one of you has ever bought shoes from them. But I was at a point where I needed to return shoes that didn't fit. And I went to their website and they offered to have the exchange to me within 4 days. To my surprise, those shoes were in my inbox, were in my mailbox the very next day. And that got me to start buying from them more often. Undercommit and over-deliver. And whatever you do, you need to plan for multiple marketing strategies. So relying on one single strategy, like paid ads, for instance, might put you in a trap. Utilizing one strategy might not work. You may lose out a large potential customer base or conversions. In other words, try to diversify your marketing strategies like pay-per-click, paid ads, organic search optimization, social media marketing, email marketing campaigns, etc. The message of the pay-per-click and paid ads must align with the website experience and your unique value proposition. Whatever you do, your ads, whether it's through email marketing or through post, they need to match the offerings of your website. Everything related to the site, from color schemes to pictures, ads, copy, and forms, should display the same message. Random or mixed messages make customers feel lost, which might redirect them to the wrong landing page. I have received offers sometimes through a post or email marketing campaign, and when I click on the button, I am actually directed to the main page of the website, which is a serious mistake. If you're going to advertise something, make sure that the button, the call to action button, actually leads to the right product or service. Never, ever, ever send a customer or the client, the potential client, to your main landing page. Remember, the more clicks, the easier it is going to be for your customer to leave frustrated. You have to simplify it. You have to direct them to the right place, okay? And last but not least, you need to showcase, go here to the next slide here. The best way to showcase your brand and to improve your relationship building strategy is through your social media platforms. Sharing content and company announcements on social media allows you to engage with your customers to start building that trust. It also allows your customers to spread the word electronically in the form of posts, comments, and reviews. Again, everything that you do, your social media accounts, you post, everything should lead back to your e-commerce site. And that the e-commerce site is where the main focus should be, where you need to make sure that they simplify, that people are going to the right place, that whatever message you're trying to convey, it is actually leading back to the correct product or the correct service. That is how you're going to build that trust with your customers so that they keep coming back. So that is, in essence, everything that you need to do to make sure that your website or your e-commerce site is in the correct position to make sure that you increase your business. Keep your eyes on the bottom line. These days, it's inconceivable that a company is not using digital space to drive sales and bottom lines. So this is actually everything I have at this point in time. Ray, do we have any questions?
Yes, Oscar, we do have a few. And I wanted to ask a couple of questions first before I get to those, just for some information grounding. How large is the e-commerce marketplace right now? Do you have some numbers or sense of that?
Not a specific numbers, but since COVID-19, it is booming right now. Everything from restaurant, anyone that, as soon as we started the pandemic, we all had to ship. And those businesses that weren't ready were the ones that got left behind. So anyone that was able to pivot was able to basically survive. Specific numbers, I don't have any specific numbers right now, but it is actually 60 to 70% of all sales right now are taken, actually higher than that, are taking place online right now. So you need to be ready for that. You need to make sure. I just had a webinar not long ago on accepting electronic payments, which is also one of the main components of e-commerce, right? How do people do it? And from PayPal to Stripe, a lot of people are now pivoting. They have a website, but they're not ready yet for e-commerce. So they started to, a lot of them started to add their products, shifting into e-commerce. And then after that, getting prepared to start accepting payments, which is another issue altogether. But it is a high percentage of all, all e-commerce is e-commerce right now is booming because nobody wants to go to the store anymore. With all the closures and with all the COVID-19 stuff going on, people just want to do it from home. And let's be serious. I don't know about you guys, but since I started ordering online, I just keep ordering online. From groceries to just about everything else. I don't want to go to the store. If I don't have to go to the store, I don't go to the store. And whatever I do it online.
Okay. For small businesses especially, this sounds like a lot of things they have to do. So you recommend that a small business does this kind of work, e-commerce work internally, or do you think it's better if they bring in experts from the outside, a company that specializes in it? How would you recommend it?
Well, e-commerce is easy to do. If you have a website already and you're not ready for it yet, you can actually incorporate e-commerce very easily, and you can do it yourself. We have another webinar on how to implement e-commerce in your website if you don't have it yet, right? So nowadays, about 70% of our websites in the world are actually running on a platform called Wordpress. And Wordpress is one of those websites, one of those platforms that allows people to easily incorporate e-commerce into it. It's just a matter of finding the right plugin, and you'd be surprised how many actual business owners are able to do it themselves. They can go in there, they can activate the plugin, they start adding their product descriptions and their high quality images and videos, and voila, before you know it, they're actually having an e-commerce site ready. Now, that said, my experience as a developer and as a consultant is actually that it takes it's easy to say that you can implement e-commerce, but once you get into it, you realize that it's not as easy as it sounds. So in many cases, and it's not because the business owner doesn't have the knowledge or cannot do it, it's because they don't have the time. They're wearing a lot of hats, and doing e-commerce or doing all the development for e-commerce is actually something that is very, very time consuming. I'm working with a couple of people right now, very talented, very knowledgeable, but they don't have the time to actually start creating all the product descriptions and the high quality images and the pricing and everything else that goes into making sure that the website follows all the strategies that we discussed, that is easy to navigate, that they can go from looking at a product to put it in the cart and through the checkout process. So, and this is where they have to make that decision. So do I spend more time doing it myself, which they can, they definitely have the knowledge to do it, or do I concentrate on the business and bring in a consultant to do it? That can be a pricey proposition. I always say, if you, recently I was talking to somebody from Guatemala, actually, that was putting together a website, and he's actually doing a great job. He's doing a great job doing it. But then he asked me, why don't I just go ahead and find somebody to do it? And the answer was, do you have about $4,000 or $5,000 to spend? Because that's actually what's going to take to get there. And, he said, well, this is not that difficult. This is what he told me. This is not difficult to do because he has already been doing it. He knows how to do it. The thing is the time that it actually takes to put the images together, the product descriptions together. And remember, in order to make this website really work, you need to not only focus on your products, but then you have to start thinking about related products to that product so that you entice the customer to go buy more from you. And this is where all that time is spent and where people are actually getting very frustrated because they don't see a lot of progress going on. It takes a lot of time to put that website, that e-commerce website together, but it can be done. So if you have the funds, by all means, you actually should go and find a consultant because it's going to be a whole lot easier. It's going to allow you to focus on your business while you're developing the e-commerce site. And you have it done. Having a developer can actually get an e-commerce site up and running in about a week. If you do it yourself, I've seen people that take 2 months. I've seen people that after 3 months, they're still not out because it's a time-consuming process. So again, if you have the funds, I recommend finding a developer. If you don't have the funds and you have the time, by all means, it can be done.
Okay. Does the Small Business Development Council, does the SBDC offer help in this regard? I thought I would just ask that before we go on to our next.
Yes, the SBDC has those resources available. So I've actually gone through those one-on-one sessions where someone is actually working on their own site, and I come in and I guide them through the process. Or again, they can go ahead and hire a developer. But yes, the SBDC offers those technical resources.
I wanted to just focus on one other thing before I go to some of the more specific questions here. But when markets started to globalize, in the 1970s and 80s and everything, one of the tenets was always, if you're a business that's going to go into another country, another culture, you want to understand that country, you want to understand that culture. That's the best way to generate success. So how do you translate that same kind of thing in doing e-commerce when you're going into different countries and cultures?
That's a very interesting question. So you definitely need to understand your market. One of the strategies that we discussed earlier is getting to know your customers, right? What are their pain points? Now, once you start introducing another country and another culture, it becomes a more complex process. Now, not only do you have to understand the technology behind it, but you actually have to understand how people do business in another country. I just came back from Latin America, where we're actually doing some business there. And we realized that first, technology in some of these countries, depending on where you're going, but in Latin America, specifically in Guatemala, where I was, technology is not just there. It's not there yet. And so, believe it or not, even a bank transaction is a complex process in a small country like that. Here, you get so used to the things happening so fast, and then you move into another country, and then you realize that everything is going to take longer. So yeah, you definitely need to go in. My recommendation would be, if you're actually going to start selling abroad, and that's why people like Amazon, for instance. I mean, they actually sell all over the world, but they're not selling just from Seattle, Washington. They actually have people in Guatemala and Peru and Costa Rica that are actually getting to understand how clients purchase, how everything works there. And technology is not readily available, right? This is another thing that I probably forgot to mention, or didn't discuss in detail in the strategies. The 90% of all the people going to e-commerce sites now are doing it through their phones. A lot of people are not using their computers anymore. They're actually doing it from their phones. In Latin America, most people don't have a computer, but everybody has a phone. And so they want to buy things using their phone. That's why it's so incredibly important that your site, that the e-commerce site is optimized for mobile, so that They can see the images that, high resolution, loads fast, because it's not like here. You go to another country and all of a sudden, broadband is non-existent. Everything's still running very sluggishly. And so you need to make sure that your website is optimized to make sure that you can answer the demands of, another place where technology is not as prevalent as it is in the United States. And you definitely need to understand how they purchase things too, right? In Latin America, they think about it, they talk with their cousins and their family before they actually go ahead and click to buy that product. So yes, you have to go there. You have to understand your customers. Very important.
One of the questions that was asked early in the early part of your presentation had to do with the use of Google Analytics.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, did you use them? And the participant was asking why Google Analytics?
Google is the biggest search engine. There's no question about it. It's a verb now. Nobody says Google me, or nobody says Bing me or Yahoo me. Everybody says Google me or Google this and Google that, right? How do we ever make it without Google before? Nowadays, Google is the biggest search engine. And so because everybody's going to Google first, that's why it's important that Google Analytics is part of your website, your e-commerce website. So if you're not there yet, I highly recommend it. You open up a Google account. If you have a Gmail account already, you can actually go out and get a Google Analytics account. Google Analytics will actually give you the code, the snippet of code that you need to introduce into your e-commerce website. This is just a tiny snippet of code that you can add to the header or the footer of your website. And every time somebody gets there, every page they click, Google is actually going to be tracking how long they were on the page, which page they went to next, what keywords they used to get to the page. Did they actually call? Did they call to get directions or to get more product information? So because they are the biggest, Google Analytics is the way to go these days. There are other platforms out there, but Google is, the way to go, the best way to go, actually. This is from experience. I've tried them all. And if you're not using Google, you're missing out on all the information they provide. It's incredible the kind of information you get from Google Analytics.
And one other large scale question that came in about what about liabilities when you're doing e-commerce? Are there unique liabilities, or are there kinds of liabilities business owners need to think about when they're doing e-commerce, especially globally?
I don't know exactly about liabilities specifically, but the thing is, like buying from a store, right? A physical store. Some of the same issues are there. People should be able to return their product easily. If they have any problems, they need to be able to have the ability to just call somebody and bring it back or send it back. As far as liabilities is concerned, well, you have to put together a very detailed, in simple terms, that detail, some of the rules of your products. What can they expect when they buy something from your site? Can they return it? How easy is it going to be to return it? If it gets damaged, who is going to be paying for that, the return of your product and sending it back? So that's why I recommend make it easy, include free shipping if they need to send something back. Liabilities, I think, probably more on the product side than it actually is going to be on the selling side. So the site itself is liable for, if it gets damaged, you need to replace it, right? As far as damages from a product, it probably is going to go more towards the product that you're selling. Now, if you're the one producing the product, then definitely you need to worry about the liability of your product. But if you're selling some of the other products, if you're selling for someone else, or you're not really the manufacturer, I think the issue there is how easy it's going to be for your customer to return the products, and how easy it's going to be to replace them, how difficult or easy you're going to make it for them to do so.
I had a follow-up question come in just now about the Google Analytics question that we just discussed a minute ago. Asking, does Google charge to get the click information, or is it free?
No. So Google has two things. The information that they provide through Google Analytics is free. That includes, again, how often they come to your page, how long they were on your page, where they came from, what device they use. All of that information is free. Now, pay-per-click, Google also offers pay-per-click ads, right? So if you open up an account with Google for marketing purposes, so you're going to be putting ads out there. The PPC ads are the ones where you create the ad, you create the keywords, and then every time somebody actually clicks on that keyword, then Google is actually going to charge you for that particular click. So that's a different one, a different alternative that Google offers. On the one side, everything Google offers, really all the information they offer is free, but you can actually expand or improve your e-commerce site by actually opening up an account with Google and purchasing the pay-per-click offering they have. At that point in time, you're actually going to be paying every time somebody clicks on a keyword that leads them to your site. So that is that's a completely different product in Google, and it can get very expensive. So if you're thinking about that, I would suggest, or I would recommend, that you try organic first. You can create a Google account, Google My Business account, where you can have all kinds of information, and Google will provide all this information to you for free. You can create that account for your businesses, and you can track who's coming to your website, how they got to your website. All of that is free. Once you actually have explored that avenue, all the free offerings from Google, then if you really want to go out there and you want to spend some money to increase your business, by all means, go ahead and use a pay-per-click. But it can get very, very expensive, because the way it works is, each keyword has a value, and it's not just the value of the keyword. It has to do with the market. So a word like roofing in Trenton, New Jersey, okay, is very expensive. The word roofing in Guatemala is 20 cents. In Latin America, because there's not a lot of roofing going on over there. But the roofing business in Trenton is very competitive. So having that word, the keyword roofing in Trenton, that click can cost anywhere between $8 to $15 per click. Now, you try some of the same keywords in New York City, like fashion, for instance, that keyword is very expensive in New York City. So think about it and put together the budget. And if you have exhausted your the free resources that Google has and the Google offers, then by all means go into the pay-per-click ads.
Okay. And another question that came in having to do with social media platforms. You got to pick the best two social media platforms. Use which would they be?
It all depends. It all depends on what their business is. So if you have a photography business, for instance, I would say the platform, my suggestion, my recommendation would be Instagram, right? It's very visual. It lends itself to high quality images, which is really what you're going to be selling if you're in the photography business. Now, if you're a professional, I don't recommend going into Instagram. It's not necessary. You have to think about what your product is, where your audience is. You have to analyze where they are. So if you're selling to young people, probably Instagram is the place to go. If you're interested in business to business, for instance, I would go into LinkedIn, right? Because that's where all the business professionals and all the companies are going to be looking for you. That's where your clients are going to be. you have to do an analysis of what your customer segment is and where they are. Facebook is very popular. Facebook is incredibly popular in other countries. In the United States, it's actually people are starting to leave Facebook now. But if you go into Latin America, for instance, believe it or not, again, I just came back from Guatemala and people were telling me, take a look at my page. When somebody tells me, look at my page, I think, look at my website, right? That's not what they meant over there. Over there is look at my page, they mean look at my Facebook profile. That's actually, they consider that a page in Latin America. They're not spending money on websites. They're actually putting together Facebook profiles for their businesses, and they call that their page. And I ask them, that's not a page, that's not a website. You should consider having a website. And that is the problem we're having there, right? That breakthrough, convincing people that they need to have a presence, like an e-commerce site to start selling the product. They're actually selling in Facebook. So think about your customer segment and then go there, right? But again, it takes time to look at all that data to determine where your customer is going to be.
So I have one more question to kind of wrap up our discussion here, to kind of take it back to where we started from. So if I'm a small businessman or woman and I'm looking to either start an e-commerce platform or start to grow an e-commerce platform, what are the first 2 or 3 things I have to do?
Well, first you need to start by spending some time on putting together just a basic website, right? So that can be done without spending a whole lot of money. It actually can be done by the business owner. If you're just willing to spend a little bit of time, there are tools out there and there are lots of webinars that can get you from not having anything to having a basic website up and running. Once you have a basic website up and running, then if you have products to sell, you can actually start looking into adding the components to, implement an e-commerce site, a shopping cart. Okay, so my recommendation is take a look at platforms like Shopify, for instance, where you can actually put a website together for not a whole lot of money, costs like $25 per month. And Shopify actually has that's their primary focus, right? It's not just a basic website, it's actually going to be an e-commerce website from the get-go, right? And they help you. They have all the tools and the resources to put together that shopping cart. So all you have to do is have images of your products, descriptions, prices. And then the platform will get you there very easily. Now, if you don't want to do that and you want to do it on your own, then go into WordPress. Okay, so WordPress is open source. It's free to everyone. You can download WordPress. You can open up a very cost-effective server for $10 a month or $5 a month in some places, where you can open up, deploy WordPress, add the component for a shopping cart. And then again, you go back to having to have the images, the product descriptions, and the prices. And once you have that, you'll be up and running in no time flat. Now, I say that with it's not as easy as it sounds. Again, there are people that can do it in a week, and then there are people that can do it in a month. And some people take longer, but you can actually get there. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get there. So you can go from 0 to having a complete shopping cart, collecting payments, and I would say in about a week or 2 weeks. I'm oversimplifying the process, but it can be done.
Very good. All right, that exhausts the questions we've had, and Oscar, I want to thank you for your time today. Very informative. We're going to make a replay of this webinar available to our members beginning tomorrow, and we're also going to make sure that people have access to the slides, information, and contact information that we talked about earlier in the program. So those who are interested can get in touch with you and or the Small Business Development Council. So thank you again. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Tom Bracken.
I also want to extend my sincere thank you, Oscar, for this very informative webinar. I think anybody who doesn't avail themselves of e-commerce today is missing out on an enormous opportunity. And in the new normal, that's going to play a significant role in the new normal as we move forward. Thank you very, very much for this information. Also want to make sure everybody realizes that the SBDCs in New Jersey can help also with this endeavor, and to make sure that they reach out to them if they have any need for some assistance in setting up their e-commerce structures and try to do things that generate more business for themselves. Also, another thank you to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group for their great support over the 5 webinars we've had, and I'm sure we'll be doing more with them in the future. You know, we've tried in these 5 webinars to attack the main issues that businesses are facing, trying to survive and then hopefully recover into the new normal. There are many, many challenges out there. They're still in existence. They're stubborn, but we need to face them head on and try to help businesses overcome them so they can get back to some sense of normalcy that we had pre-pandemic. To that issue, I want to make sure everybody realizes that the State Chamber on April the 13th and 14th is putting together a statewide business summit in Atlantic City at the Borgata. We've done 2 of these in prior years that have been extremely successful. We bring together hundreds of businesses from around the state, from many different disciplines to talk about issues facing our economy and the business community. We have government officials there to hear what we're talking about. And it'll be a 2-day, very interactive session where we have panels and we have the ability with each panel to be interactive with the audience. And again, great recommendations have come out of the last 2. We expect recommendations of significance to come out of the panels we're having this year. So please, if you get a chance, attend on April 13th and or 14th. More information and how to register, I believe, is now in the chat box or will be, or if not, you can go to our website to get that information. So in closing, I would just say that, you know, our job is to try to help businesses recover and survive and thrive. Hopefully the webinars that we've done with New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group have done that. Oscar, I think you've given us great information to help facilitate that recovery. And again, thank you to you, the SBDCs, and New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. And thank you everyone for attending today, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.